stamp duty on share transactions, the stamp duty there, and of course the very large stamp duties on property transactions discourages trade in real estate and transactions. Income tax, which is progressive, is very important as the largest source of revenue, but also because of it being progressive, it means that the burden of tax is carried by those with disproportionately in accordance with their income. So those with the highest incomes pay more of the tax because they can best afford it, and that's understood. The GST itself is a very efficient tax, and it is widely regarded as such, and is regarded as such by just about any economist, and of course just recently by the OECD. The problem with the GST, of course, is that it affects households with lower incomes, because they will spend a larger proportion of their income on goods and services that are subject to the GST. So its advantage is its efficiency. It doesn't distort economic activity. Its disadvantage is that it is seen to be regressive, although it's fair to say that recent studies indicate that it is not as regressive as was once thought years ago. But nonetheless, we accept it has a certain regressive nature. It's not a progressive tax like income tax. And so, therefore, there have always been advocates of having less of our tax revenue, our being all of governments, levied from personal income tax, from direct taxes, and more from an indirect tax, a GST, VAT, call it what you will. The challenge is to ensure that if you, with a GST or a VAT, that lower income households are properly compensated, and that is clearly part of the design in 2001. It was part of your own government's design when you imposed a similar broad-based tax on energy, the carbon tax. And of course, it is, if there were to be in the future any change to the GST, equity and fairness would be absolutely foremost.